Hello and welcome to episode 5 of Journey of an Entrepreneur. Okay, today I have Julie on the podcast. You want to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Julie Fitzpatrick. I'm a multi-award-winning therapist and coach, podcast host, public speaker, #1 best-selling co-author of Millieside Therapy and Coaching.
So, a woman of many talents. Okay, so the first question I'll ask, can you tell me your story then? So your origin story of your business.
Yeah, so as I sort of speak to you now, as I said, I'm the founder of Millieside Therapy and Coaching. I'm 55 years of age and I started my entrepreneur journey in my 50s. So I spent 35 years working in the corporate world, living in my head, living quite a stressed life. And then in the middle of the pandemic in August 2020, I got thrown my curveball, which was I no longer had a job. So as the main breadwinner of the house, that was quite a challenge. But I made a decision at that point that I could either, wallow in my self-pity, or I could get off my backside and go and start doing something that I've always wanted to do and do something for myself. So that's exactly what I did. And I started my journey.
Is there any aspects of, because that's obviously we discussed over the last couple of days of filming, obviously with the different, hurdles that we didn't know that were actually here. Is there any part of your old job which you kind of miss, or are you completely really happy you completed that jump and you're not dealing with that stress anymore?
I don't miss that world. In fact, when I got made redundant, I knew I had to go back to work. So I did go back to work for a couple of years in the end. So I was working full time, retraining myself, going through my transformational journey and learning how to build a business, because I knew nothing, and I mean nothing, about that. And that was okay, because I had my mindset then that I was only going back to work to earn the money to fund all of this new adventure. I don't think I could have gone back under the old circumstances. In fact, the thought of doing that used to make me feel physically sick. I didn't hate all of it, but the latter few years, and then for any women out there who are in the prime of their life, as we like to call it, you'll know what I'm talking about, because when you hit the menopause as well, you lose even more confidence, you get more anxious, you totally lose who you are, really. So no, I don't miss any of that.
Yeah.
However, I would like to go back in the guise of talking to people, going there and doing speaking, because I know what I know now about the power of the mind, how important that is, fears, imagination, versus spending 35 years in the real world of doing that. I get both sides. So I now think I can go back, but not in the same way that I did before. I can go back and help people.
So is that one of the areas you want to start focusing on, the more corporate side of business then?
Yeah, I love working with my clients on a one-to-one, and I will still do that. And I love working with my clients in my group program. But I like speaking too, and I think the more we can share the knowledge that we gain, the more useful that is, right? So I believe I can help many people who, they're not necessarily in the corporate world, but that's, anyone who's working really. I understand the stresses, right? I was a single mum at a time. I got remarried, I've done the blended families, prior to that I got the divorce, didn't get divorced a second time yet, but I've had the money struggles. I get it. I know what it's like also to have that feeling of just being too busy. And that's what I've built the whole of my work on. My group program is all around the importance of taking care of yourself, because I didn't. I always did exercise, actually. I always had that, so that probably kept me sane.
Yeah.
But I didn't understand the mind, body and soul connection. I didn't understand how the importance of meditation was, how the importance of taking time out for myself and getting off that treadmill for a little while, even if it's only for 10 minutes a day. The importance of just doing something for you. And I've got a whiteboard in my office, actually, and one of the things on there that I look at every day is, you should always ask yourself every day, what's the one thing I can do today that's going to make me happy? Even if it is just sitting down and having a cup of tea or a cup of coffee without worrying about anyone else, just be selfish.
So I always think sometimes it's so easy to forget to get, well, as you said before, you get busy being busy, and sometimes you do forget to do the basic human thing for yourself. You get so wrapped up in it all, and you kind of want to get everything done, but then you don't want to waste any time, and you get very easily get yourself in a spiral of making yourself feel more worse and worse, and busier and busier.
Yeah, and I've done that even in my entrepreneur journey as well. You know, and you know this, that when you're in this journey, whether you've got other people in your business or not, I'm in it on my own, right? But I'm very lucky because I knew the importance of investing in myself, right? So I heavily invested in my therapy training, in therapy on myself, but also invested in business coaching because I didn't know anything about it, like I said to you. So I've been lucky in the sense that I've got lots of groups of like-minded people, so you don't ever feel alone. But if you try doing it on your own, then you really, really are on your own, aren't you? But you know, and we've had these discussions before as well, that even when you're in that business coaching world, there's still a lot of action for you to take. And you can easily just sit on your backside and not take that action, can't you? But the problem is, there's always so much action to take, and it's the focus. And whenever I've had conversations with our business coach, he always says to me, Julie, just focus. You're all over the place, just focus. But that's kind of how different brains are wired though, isn't it? I mean, lots of people talk to me now about, I think I've got ADHD and all that. And I think we probably all have, of some description. I don't necessarily think it's a bad thing. It just means you just need to understand how your own mind works and then utilise it, because it is a superpower. But for me, and I know you're similar because we've had many conversations, that we've always got so many spinning plates, and that can be a blessing and a curse, right? Because if you've got so many, then you feel like you're not always making progress because you're working on all these different spinning plates. But actually, yes, it's good if you can just stop spinning some and focus maybe on 2, 3 or 4 rather than 24, right? And I've been doing that more recently, trying to think about everything and just focus what I need to focus on for that week, for that next couple of weeks. And that has worked much better. But there is always so much to do and you can get caught up in it. But the other thing I've learned in this process is I have to remind myself that it is a journey, and I have to trust that I'm where I am in that journey at the right time. And I could get cross with myself sometimes when I think, I would like to be much more financially abundant than I am right now. But then I go, well, Julie, cut yourself some slack. You've only been 100% working in your business for 18 months, right? You've been through, I've completely changed my career, 35-year career, completely different, completely retrained myself. But I'm also going on a personal journey myself. I didn't know social media before. Now I've pretty much got all of them. I've got a podcast, I've got a YouTube channel, I do interviews. It's like, girl, you've done really well, but stop worrying about the things I haven't done and focus on the things that I have done. And I think that's a good lesson for all of us, isn't it?
It is very easy to forget about where you've come. I do understand what you mean. Sometimes it is, as we discussed before, it's very hard to to look back on how far you've come. Sometimes you feel like when you're still like knee deep in it, it's very hard to sort of think of the bigger picture.
Yeah, it is. But that's when goal setting and visualization comes into play. So I always think about, like when I'm doing my meditation in the morning, I'll do whatever it is I'm doing in my meditation, but then I'll have a little bit of a moment where I'll visualise where I want to be. And that's the beauty of being present as well, because you can ask yourself questions, you can ask your body questions, like you can say, right, what's the most important thing I need to do today? Close your eyes and kind of like meditate on it. And I was trying to come up with something the other day about, I just couldn't get something clear in my head, and then all of a sudden I just had this picture. I was like, oh, that's what you need to do. Some of it was around actually about the filming that you and I have been doing. I was like, I've got to find time to think about what I want to film, and I was getting myself in a bit of a tears. And then I just thought about it, and then I just had the picture of, right, I want this video, this video, this video, this video, and And once you take out all the, I don't know, all the noise, and then you can just get a clearer picture. But it's taking that time out to stop the noise. Because if we don't stop and you just carry on and go, oh my God, I'm so busy, I need to do this, I need to do this, I need to do this, that's when you can't access what you really need to do, because you can't access you can't tap into your intuition, basically, because you're too much overthinking.
But one thing that could be good with your experience you've had is that the good thing is that from when you are working now, you've got good coping mechanisms to realise that you're overstressed and overwhelmed. And I feel like myself, sometimes you feel like I'm doing certain work and then I forget that you're not like self-sabotaging yourself, but you're not allowing yourself to do everything to your full potential because you're so in your own head about I've got to do A, B and C today, got this person messaging about all of this, I need to make sure I do all that. And at the same time, whilst doing that, you aren't doing other things, and then overall the whole thing's just a one big overthink.
Exactly right. And you know what it's like when you get a therapist or coach or something. It's like we're probably the biggest hypocrites, because it's do as I do, not as I, do as I say, not as I do. But that's a huge learning curve that I've been on, right? I was that person. And even with my therapy training that I was doing, we would get work to do, and I would just go, oh, that's really good, I'll use that on my clients. And then I'd put it to one side and I wouldn't actually use it myself. And then I come a cropper, and then I realised that, Julie, you can't just skim through this stuff. You can't just pretend to do it. You've got to really do it. And these are the obstacles that my clients are going through as well. So this is why you attract the right type of clients, because the clients that I get now are people who are in a similar position to me. But I can say to them, look, I understand how you're feeling, but this is how we can get you out of it. This is what I did. So I'm not sitting there talking about something that I've got no experience of. I'm talking about the experience that I've been through, and I can help you through that. And when you're looking for someone to help you with an issue, you just need to find someone that you relate to, right? So, if I got someone who was from the corporate world and I'd been doing a completely different job and I didn't understand it, I wouldn't be able to resonate with them. And one of the biggest tips, actually, that one of my coaches gave me when I was really struggling with my niche, because my niche was women in their prime of lives, which was good because that was me as well, right? Because I could resonate how it felt. But then after I lost Luther, my Great Dane, who there's another story in there that I won't tell you now, but I decided that I didn't want to do that anymore. And then I went off the boil. But in the end, I've got back on it now, because it's about stress and it's about overwhelm. But what my business coach said to me is, your niche should be someone that you were a couple of years ago. And I was like, oh, okay, that's quite interesting. I mean, obviously it depends on the business that you're doing. Obviously in your business, it doesn't really matter, but it's not the same, is it? But when you're a therapist and coach, it's about resonating with people, and I need to be able to understand how they're feeling. They need to trust that I know what they're talking about, and we can go through that journey together. So I can work with people that are still in that busy life of working. I can work with people that are half in, half out, because that was me for 2.5 years. Or small business owners, because I get it. I get the struggles from both sides. But like you said, with the knowledge that I have now, I've got tools and techniques that I can use for them, but also on myself. I can get up and do my meditation. I can get up and do embodiment techniques to sort of free myself from trapped feelings and emotions. And that's something I've learned as well, that I was always stuck in my head. And I've realised now that you can't always think your way out of a situation. Sometimes you have to feel it. And that's when the embodiment techniques come in, where you just free yourself from trapped feelings and emotions and just let go. You don't have to understand it all. They're there, just get rid of them.
That's when definitely what you're doing now and the experience you've already gained will definitely help you through that. Because that's one of the areas which sometimes can be such a burden, especially when you have got a lot of different things you have to get sorted, and you're going through that kind of situation. and you put your confidence down. At the end of the day, you always want to portray to your clients that you're confident in yourself, you're the expert in your field, and sometimes when you're in that overwhelmed state and you can't seem to get yourself out of it, you're in that never-ending battle because you need them clients to come in. When you do talk to them, you'll talk to them from a place of worry and like overwhelm.
That's it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, obviously then they're probably thinking, all right, oh great, this person's, if he doesn't have confidence in himself, why am I going to have confidence in him? So it's good that the experience you have gained. So through the experience you've already gained through obviously 35 years in the corporate and obviously starting your business, what would you say has been one of your biggest struggles which you've had to overcome?
Quite a lot actually. Sales. Never really sold anything in my life really. I mean, okay, I know you can argue that in your job you're sort of selling yourself in that sense, but not in the same way I've had to sell products that I've created or using it's a lot more personal now, and I'd never really done sales before, so I really struggled with that. Social media, oh my goodness, right? I never knew. Like many people, right? I got qualified in my, NLP, hypnotherapy, rapid transformational therapy, and I thought once I'd done all that, people would just turn up. And it turns out they don't, because it turns out they don't know about you. And once you've exhausted kind of your friendship group, you're like, oh, okay. And then when they said, oh, you got to do social media, I'm like, yeah, right. Now, I had LinkedIn, which I literally used just when I needed a new job. Didn't go on it at all unless I was looking for a job. And then I had personal Facebook, which I barely used, occasionally put some snaps, more of the dog really, to be honest. Maybe when we was on holiday or something, but I wasn't that bothered. I was never really a consumer of it either. I'd flick through, but I've never really been one that was what I would say addicted to social media. So not only did I not really use it, I didn't understand it. And then someone said, right, you've got to have Instagram. So I think the kids set me up with that, I think. Didn't understand any of that. So now I've got, fast forward a couple of years, I've got business LinkedIn, business Facebook, I've got Instagram, I've got YouTube, and now I've been forced onto TikTok. My niece was around the other day and she made me go on there. So I've pretty much got them all now. And the irony of it all is people ask me to help them, which always makes me chuckle.
It's a great sign, isn't it? You know what I mean? It shows you're doing something right.
They go, can you show me how to do a reel and all this sort of stuff. But in all honesty though, I couldn't have done that on my own. That was through mentoring. And I'm going to do a shout out to Jenna from Social Media Refinery, because she helped me a lot. And she, without her I probably wouldn't have what I've got. Don't get me wrong, there's always room for improvement, and I don't have masses and masses of followings, but it all takes time, right? So
it does take time, yeah.
And I'm very lucky now to have a VA, so he helps me with that as well. So,
but it's as you said before, it's that make sure to look back, like before you had nothing on social media, and then now you got them all.
I've got them all.
Yeah.
It does make me laugh. I mean, when I said to you before, like, I was 52 when I got made redundant, right? So it's like, it's never too old. You're never too old to make a change. And that's the other message I like to get across to people. Most people at 50s are starting thinking about, I'm going to be able to retire soon. No, not me. Or my husband, actually. He went out on his own in his 50s as well. So I don't quite know what's going on there. But, for me, I spent probably the majority of my working career caught up in it and couldn't get out, because I was earning good money, and then I felt guilty getting out of it, right? Because everyone's going to suffer, it's not just me. And this is the trouble, you get caught in that treadmill, and whether you want to get off it or not, sometimes it's difficult to do that. So actually, being made redundant was the best thing that happened, because it gave me that opportunity to do something for me for the first time.
And that is very true. Sometimes the best situations come out of the worst ones, don't they?
Yeah, it's not always. I mean, don't get me wrong. At the time of it happening, I was angry, because it was in the middle of the pandemic, and I was panicking, thinking, well, am I going to get another job in a million, like that. But then actually, once I flipped my mindset completely, and I actually said, what I want to do is get another contract that pays really well, but I don't have to do too much, and that's exactly what I got. Because normally I would have been, oh my God, I'm never going to get a job. And bearing in mind at that point, I hadn't uncovered all my limiting beliefs at that point, which were, I didn't think I was good enough, and I wasn't worthy enough, right? And I spent my whole childhood and career believing that I was average. I realise now that I was far from average, but that held me back. So I get a bit cross sometimes, because I think if only I'd known this stuff years ago, I wonder what I would have been doing now. I could have been probably very rich, doing something I loved, but you don't, you are where you are, you can't live on regrets, right? And that's what I would say to anybody. Don't, whatever age you are, if you've got the opportunities and the resources, start investing in yourself, right? And finding out what your limiting beliefs are, and come and work with me, and we get to the root cause. Got to do a plug for myself, right? And let's understand what's holding you back, because there's no need to feel like that. And we're holding on to beliefs that we created in our childhood, and we're running our lives as adults on them. So it just doesn't make sense. So we need to just understand what's going on for us, and then you can thrive, and then you can move from stuck to unstoppable, which is my whole tagline.
It's a very good tagline.
Thank you.
I was thinking, it's some of these areas which we discuss, and as we say, you don't know what you don't know. And I find all different businesses I work with, I always talk to the owners and things, and they always have different knowledge, and it's stuff like what you said yourself, which I didn't even have a clue on. I remember you said before saying we have our limiting beliefs. It was when we were like from 7 years old. The 0 to 7 is when we create the main belief system, but we don't have logic. Yeah.
So we take those beliefs on at face value when they're rubbish, really. Because
if I saw myself now at 5, I wouldn't listen to me at all. So I don't know why I'm listening to myself now.
Exactly, that's beautiful.
But it's one of the areas which we wouldn't really think of.
Yeah.
We learn from each other, and obviously you learn from people who's around you, and because if they don't do it or they don't portray it, then you kind of you muddle through life thinking these beliefs and being very stuck. Because I was thinking, to have your own business and to do personal growth, it's quite a big thing in the way that it's quite like a big, the whole, like I said before, you have the best laid plans, but without action it's nothing. But when we're at school and when we're growing up, you see people who are doing really, really well at this, and you're thinking, I can't do that. But we forget what we're doing now is like really putting ourselves out there.
Yeah.
And sometimes we forget because if we would have done that, I'm not really sure like the equivalent of having your own business is when you're at school, like fair enough, he's doing that. Well, sometimes it's hard to forget. It's easy to forget that we are really.
Well, they say that we are the 1%. You think that most people don't do what we're doing. Most people wouldn't be doing this, and a lot of people would criticise us for doing that and say, "Who do they think they are? What are they doing up there? What do they know?" But the biggest thing that stops people being successful in life and in business are your fears. And if you think about the word fear, it spells false evidence appearing real. So when you're a business owner, or even you don't have to be a business owner, anyone in any walk of life, so professionals, anybody, right? And this was me in my corporate career as well. You have these limiting beliefs, right? But fears are the biggest ones that are holding you back, because you've got fear of failure, fear of success, fear of scarcity, right? And there's lots of different fears, but those hold you back, right? So in your subconscious, you'll have beliefs about, for example, if you've got a belief that you don't feel good enough, right? That's going to impact your confidence. So when you're in a job or a business, or you're a business owner, you might go, oh, do you know what? I really want to go for that promotion. But if you've got that inner belief that you're not good enough, you're not going to do it, because you go, oh yeah, but I can't, because I'm not going to get it. I'm no good, right? And then you don't put yourself forward. Or maybe you need to go for another job, but you just haven't got the confidence to do it. Or you haven't got the confidence to do social media when you're a business owner, right? Visibility is a huge thing, isn't it? If you haven't got the courage to do camera work, if you haven't got the courage to go networking, if you haven't got the courage to stand up and talk to people, well, guess what? You're not going to have a very successful business. But that will be fear. But that is also us using our imagination in a really negative way. And this is one of my other fun facts, is our imagination is the most powerful tool that we all have. Yet most of us don't know how to use it properly, and we're using it in a negative way. So fears, anxiety, stress, overwhelm, procrastination, self-sabotage, they're all fear-based, they're all us using our imagination. False evidence appearing real, right? So all the energy that we're using up on going, yeah, but what will they say? What if I fail? What if I go and do that talk and I'm just disastrous? What if I don't get that job? What if I don't win that client? Oh my God, what if? Look at all that energy that you're wasting. So imagine if you could use that energy and you could use that in a positive way. Imagine how you could go, wow, I'm really excited for that networking event today, because there's going to be some amazing people there, and I'm just going to come across so natural, so authentic. People are just going to be attracted to me, yeah, and the money's just going to come to me because money's attracted to me, rather than, oh my God, it's just going to be a disaster. I bet it's going to be really boring. No one's going to talk to me. I'm never going to. Well, no, you're not going to get any new clients from it, are you? Because you're going in with that negative attitude, and all of this builds and builds and builds. And that's the difference between being a success and not being a success. Simple as.
No, you are very correct, to be fair. And as you said before, with like the personal growth, and I remember hearing before, but obviously, like, you know, you get so obsessed when you start a business or whatever, you look at everything as like a do or die. You see a client and you feel like, okay, I want to talk to them, and I'm going to have to convert them straight to making a purchase and getting up income. But as they say, which we forget about when it comes to business, it's, if you concentrate on knowledge and personal growth, the money will come. And it's doing that. You think, you think, for example, going to a seminar, learning more about your trade or more about sales, or how's that going to make me money? We're going to that, but actually, the personal growth you get from it and the knowledge you get from it translates.
Yes.
But it's the bigger picture. Sometimes we get very blinded to the truth. We think we have to concentrate going one way, when actually you think that's the only way we can go to make money, and it has to be that, nothing else. If you think of the bigger picture, well, obviously through personal growth and through chatting to people about, because also people don't always want to look like they don't know something. Like they was, and this is a little bit different, but for example, in like as I say, in like martial arts, but specifically in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Do you know about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu? They say, well, I'll tell you. So what's the hardest belt to get, would you say?
Black.
No, white belt, because you have to start.
Oh, yeah. No, I answered that too quickly. I have heard that. I've heard that now. Darn it.
But it's true, isn't it? Because and that's like you said with running or with anything.
Yeah, it's a
I can't do that. I don't like that. I can't. Like, for example, I do BJJ, and I'm a white belt. It's great. I get battered every week. But you have to start somewhere.
Yeah, you're right, and I'm annoyed with myself now. I was just trying to show you off, show off that I knew what a black belt was. But no, it's true, and it is about finding something that you love. And that's another top tip, I think, for business. Like, if you're thinking about going into a business, isn't it? It's about, don't go into a business with something that you don't like, or it doesn't give you purpose and passion, because it won't work. Because I nearly swore then. It's really challenging, isn't it, Jack?
It is very challenging, yes.
And if you've got something that you're passionate about, then you're more likely to succeed. And we was having a discussion about running today, weren't we?
We did, we was.
And he said, you should go run. I said, no, I've done running before, I don't like it. But you can't, if you want to do exercise, you have to find something that you love, because there's no point trying to force yourself to do exercise if you don't like it, because the old habits will kick in and then you won't do it. So it's about finding what makes you happy, what's your purpose and passion, and do your business in that. And when you find something like that, then you don't feel like you're ever doing a day's work. However, that's a blessing and a curse as well, isn't it? Because then you don't stop working. So it is a fine balance. But yeah, just even in a job, right, we all deserve to do something that we love. And there's no reason why you can't earn good money doing something that you love, right? So yeah, just stop getting stuck in your head.
So sometimes you get, it's a very common phrase, but you are your own worst enemy.
Yeah, for sure.
There's so many times where you can do. I know that there's things that I do, which like, I know a lot of people who are like, for example, even a small thing like do salsa. I really enjoy it. It's really, really good. But I know like some people who are like who would really like it and who would be really good at it, but they say they can't do it. They'd be better than me. But it's a difference when I'm doing it. I'll try and get them to go with me and to do it. But it's stuff like that. People you know for a fact to be fantastic at it, you know, be great at something. They just get so in their own way they can't do it, and when they say they can't,
You can't.
it's their block of like they've like convinced themselves and they can't, because obviously people don't want to. Also, people never want to look silly, do they? People never want to look.
It's a fear of failure.
Yeah, the fear of failure. It all boils down to these beliefs we've given ourselves. I'm not a on.
I know, see?
Stuff here, but it's true, isn't it? You get stuff where you don't want to start something just because. I think because people get like, because it takes a long time to learn their craft or their skills at the moment, they think, I can't possibly do that again. But I was thinking the best time to do something is now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is actually, and that is a good saying. And I think it's worth mentioning as well that the things we're talking about, fear of failure, fear of success, self-sabotage, procrastination, right, all fear-based. But you've got to remember, we're not consciously doing this. It's a subconscious reaction, right? And for those that don't know, 5% of our mind is conscious, 95% is subconscious, and that's our whole body as well, not just our heads, right? So when we're doing these things and we're naturally not doing stuff, we're not consciously not doing it. We don't consciously go, I think I'm going to have a really crappy day at work today because I just feel like sabotaging myself. We don't consciously do that. It's all, well, most people don't anyway, maybe some do, but it's all internal, right? So we don't understand why it's happening. But your mind will listen to anything you tell it. And this is why the power of language is so important. And like you were saying a minute ago, I can't. Well, if you tell yourself you can't do it, then you won't. So we have to sort of get up every morning and really be mindful of what we're telling ourselves. So if we start our day off, the day starts off with your first thought really as you get out of bed. And if your first thought is, oh my God, that was another crappy night's sleep. I'm so tired. I'm never going to get through today. Well, guess what? You're not going to. And I've done that before, because I've had times when I've slept bad, and my husband's gone to me, you're chirpy this morning. But it's the same. It's the thing, isn't it? If that's how you're going to get up in the morning. So even if you have had a crappy night's sleep, just go, brilliant! I'm excited for today. Got so much fun to have today, and then you're starting off with that more positive mindset. And that will get you through the day. And then you're more inclined then to eat something healthy. You're more inclined to go and do your exercise. You're more inclined to go and take 5 minutes for yourself because you're more happy and content. Do something for yourself today, it's going to make you happy. Mm-hmm. So it does all have a knock-on effect. And until we get out of our own heads and stop telling ourselves a story. So this is one of the things I do in my group program. It's all about the story that we tell ourselves. It's a habit. It's a behaviour. Stress, overwhelm, all of that. I'm too busy being busy. I haven't got time to look after myself, right? That's just learnt behaviour. Now, you could have learnt it from your parents or your caregivers, or you just created that in your life. And that was my story. But who are you trying to kid? You've created that story. You've created that habit. But guess what? You created it. You can change it. But you need to want to, because sometimes we, in the therapy world, we call it like a secondary gain. So even if someone's got an illness, right? If you see anyone saying, my anxiety, my depression, as soon as you own it, it's yours. So don't ever own it, right? But sometimes if people have got something, that's their identity, or I'm like this because this terrible thing happened to me. Yeah, sure, a terrible thing happened to you, but that doesn't define you, only if you allow it to. That's not who you are. And it's about finding who you are and then growing and getting stronger. So yeah, some people do have terrible trauma in their life, and it does obviously impact them, but we can help with that. We can reduce that. We can remove those trapped feelings and emotions that you're stored in your body. We can change the beliefs, because if something terrible happened to you, then you would have created beliefs that you're not worthy, you're not good enough, and it was your fault, and you're not lovable. But that's not true, because anyone, for example, if there was abuse, that's not their fault, you know, and that they shouldn't have to live their life like that. No, thinking that was their fault when it wasn't. But we can reverse all of that.
Well, yeah, well, she's very important. I think people wouldn't really know.
No.
Because you think there's some things which I know I've thought before, which you think, oh, that's just me, or that's just a thing, and you forget.
Yeah, that's just who I am, but it's not.
Because I always think, you know, if you go to if you go to a party, or you go out with your mates who do something, or you go somewhere and you meet someone for the first time. Let's say, even if you're feeling like awful, you said to yourself, you know what, I'll like ironically be really positive. You go to a new person, you chat to them in a really positive way, you leave. If someone talks to them, they'll think you're really positive. So, do you know what I mean? It's that kind of thing where if you just do it, you'll start to feel it. If you just try and... But if you go there being, oh, like, I don't want to be here, I want to go home, I feel awful, then when you talk to people, you'll portray that, and then someone will think, oh, he's miserable.
Yeah. I don't want to go out with him again. He's right miserable. He just brought me right down. And that's all about energies, isn't it? It's about the energy that you bring. And people can feel energies, you know, and you know that. Exactly. That's a brilliant example. If you walk into the room and everyone's all happy, and then miserable Bob walks in, it just brings down the whole
vibe.
Fun sponge.
Yeah.
Right? It just zap all the fun out of the room. You don't want to be that person.
No.
You don't want to be that person that go, oh God, is Bob coming? Jeez. Sorry for any Bobs out there, just using that. But, you know, and you become that person, that becomes your, you know, boring Bob. But you don't want to be that person. You want to be a happy Bob, don't you? Oh, is Bob coming?
Yeah.
Oh, he's always good fun, you know? And you don't want to be around that. You want to be around people that bring you up, not bring you down.
So, yeah, if there was any... Let's say any Bobs out there.
Poor old Bobs.
So yeah, so through obviously with your business coming to where you are, and obviously the hurdles you've already overcome, what would you say which you've learned from what you've done so far? What's a big lesson you've learned?
I've learned so many things, but I guess the thing that comes straight to my mind was that you've got to invest in yourself. I can't not say that, because I absolutely would not be where I am now without investing in my personal development and in business coaching. I mean, you can do one or the other, but both is good, because you can just go and get the business coaching, which will be great. However, if you haven't worked on yourself, you're still going to be holding yourself back, because you're going to have those limiting beliefs that you're not good enough. So, you know, as a business owner, you won't get visible, you won't do social media, you won't put yourself out at networking events, or even if you do all of those, you're not going to have it with put passion into it. So it's going to decrease your revenue, because you're not going to be making as much money as you could.
On the front foot already.
Yeah. You know, so, and I do get a little bit frustrated, because I do many calls with people and they go, Julie, I love what you do, I so want to do it, but I'm going to leave it for now because I've got, you know, this holiday to pay for, and right, and obviously it's everyone's choice, but they will spend money on everything other than themselves. And I want people to understand that if you don't invest in yourself, you're never going to be the best version, which means you're not going to be the best version for yourself, or for your family, or for your friends, for your business. So you're always going to suffer. So looking after yourself and investing in yourself really should be your priority. But unfortunately it isn't, because a lot of people feel guilty about it. But don't, because everyone wins if you invest in yourself. And if you're lucky enough to be able to do both, then do both. Because then you're going to scale your business, and you're going to be living the best version of yourself.
Yeah, that's one thing I would say for myself as one of the big lessons, because I do work with other clients as well, and podcasting as well. I had one client, he said one of the lessons he's learned was not to rush anything. which is very important. And I'd say too, lessons that I've learned is not to rush anything, and the personal development and the personal growth thing. Before obviously we did big business events, I went to that free seminar. It's one of the ones where I like to say I'm a doer in the way that...
Me too, yeah.
Yeah, we all are. So I thought when I saw their free event, their DOP, their display of power, and I thought, you know what, I'll go there because it's a free event. I always like to learn. And I go there, and then you start hearing what everyone else is doing, what they've learned, and I thought to myself, I won't, I don't need this stuff. I know what you think.
I know what I'm doing.
You know what you're doing. I'm fine. And it was not until you hear what they're saying, you're thinking, well, what on earth that? I've never heard of that before. Is that even English? I'd never even heard any of it. All these different things go through your head, and then you don't know what you don't know. And then you start, you learn. But as I said before, people talk to people and learn new things. They give you the tools. Like I said before, you can have the best laid plans in the world, but without action. And without having the headspace of being like, oh, can I do this? It's a mixture of, because sometimes I thought, I can't do this and that. I do it anyway because I'm thinking, I'll give it a go. So I think I've muddled through certain things, because even if I haven't believed in myself fully, I thought, you know what? What's the worst going to happen? You have to try. I was like, you could, yeah. You know what I mean? I was like, you could.
Yeah.
If you want to get new results, you've got to do something new.
You've got to do something new, but you got to understand that it's not going to happen overnight. And I did work full time for, I think it was about 18 months in the end, whilst I was building my business, which in the end just got too much for me, because trying to do a full-time job, trying to be in my business, seeing clients as well, doing all my social media, it was killing me, really, if I'm honest. So I had to make that decision to free myself. But that was a huge decision, because I was earning good money, and it was the fear that kicked in then of what if I can't make a living from it? What if? But I just had to trust myself. I just had to trust that I'm going to be looked after. I've done the work. I'm doing the work. And it will be okay, and it will be. But I would say to people that anyone that is thinking of starting their own business, don't quit yet. Get it up and running, get some revenue coming in, then maybe reduce your hours in your paid role or something. But I wouldn't, unless you've got financial backing, I wouldn't recommend just ditching it all and go, yay, because it takes time. Unless you've got the audience already, then it takes time, doesn't it?
And business is such an ebb and flow of 1 minute you're really busy, next minute you're not so much, and it builds up, and I feel like you need that
you need different revenues, money revenues, I think, don't you?
But it's that kind of thing which we've discussed before. I said then focus on one thing at a time.
Yes.
Because you're very correct. I've thought to myself, I've been doing. It's a few of the things I do as well to get other revenue streams of trying to look at doing some investment things and other businesses as well. But it's that thing where you spread yourself so thin in everything, then the input you have to everything else becomes thinner and thinner. Eventually, you're really busy doing rackle.
We had this conversation, didn't we? And I went, Jack, just slow it down. Let's just do one thing, master that first. And that's what Adam would say as well. But it is that shiny toy, isn't it? But then you just, like you say, you just spread yourself too thin. And I haven't done that so much within my business, because what I've been doing is although saying that, I've got my book coming out. I have actually, I'm just being a complete hypocrite. But what I mean is yours were completely separate to your recording business, weren't they? But yeah, it's staying focused, but having that clearer vision. And when you start working on yourself and you uncover your limiting beliefs, that's when the doors start opening for you. That's one of the other biggest lessons I've learned, right? When I decided that I'm going to start this journey, I didn't know what this journey was. I didn't know what it was going to look like. Probably glad I didn't really, because I might not have done it, but I'm glad I did. But once I uncovered the beliefs that I wasn't good enough, and I now know that I am good enough, I am more than enough, I am unstoppable, right? That's where my tagline came from. that's when I started to say yes to things. So in December 22, when I quit my job, that's when I won my first award, and it was the first time that I spoke on a stage. Then I was in a book. Now I'm writing my own book. Now I'm speaking on more stages. I didn't know I was going to have my own podcast. I didn't know it was. I didn't know. You didn't know, did you?
Yeah, I didn't know. Yeah.
This was a thing that come from business coaching, wasn't it? That you need to get yourself an interview series. And actually, I started doing it, and I thought, oh, this is quite fun. It was just started as an Instagram live, and then I thought, oh, I quite enjoy this. And it's just another way of getting out what you do, really, isn't it? And people hopefully get to like you and come and find you. But if you'd said that to me, you know, January 2020, say, this year you're going to leave your job and you're going to start becoming I never even wanted to be a business owner. It wasn't even anything that I wanted to do. I'd never crossed my mind. And it does make me laugh when I look back on it. But this is the thing, you start in a direction and you go where it takes you. Like you said earlier about don't get fixated on, I've got to make money, I've got to do it this way, this is the only way. It's not the only way. You have forks in the road, don't you, in life? And that's when you take time out to stop, to think, and you come up with an idea, go, well, that might be quite fun. Now, I mean, for you and I, right, we literally met at one of the events, right? Right at the end of the day, didn't we?
Mm-hmm, we did.
And we just started chatting, and I said, oh, you know, I really could do with this. I said, but I haven't really got the finances for it right now. So in the end, we come up with our own little negotiation, didn't we? So there's other ways of doing business as well. Working for each other, doing things for each other. You don't always have to be financial, do they? They can be different avenues that you can go to. And now we've got the relationship. So next time I want any more video in, I'll give you a shout. You'll recommend me, I'll recommend you, and then that's another relationship that you've built, isn't it?
It's all about, yeah, exactly. It's all about collaboration, isn't it? And I do know what you mean, because I felt, I think I've, for example, been in big business now I've been in the event called Big Business for last 3 months now. And yeah, I said before that, if I knew that I'd have a podcast, be chatting to you and other different clients, and because I do 3 podcasts, but this is the only one that I speak on. I film and edit the other ones. So like, there's some different things. Like, I do a lot of filming of myself now. Give it like, still when I hear my own voice back, I sound like I'm gonna be sick hearing my own voice. But I didn't think I'd be doing that. And they said before, you start one thing and then it just leads to the next. And also, you always have to just put yourself out there. I think I can, unless someone's like a narcissist, everyone who films themselves, when they first hear themselves, hated it.
Oh, it's dreadful. Everyone
does. I'm sure there's some people who are like, about 99% of people, and then over time you get more used to it. And now it's just something we do. It's just something we do to get like more of an expert in your field and just get more content. More, as you said before, people buy from people. So, like for example, people are more likely going to make a purchase from looking at my social media of myself than just looking at images of what I do.
Yeah.
Because I'm not buying an image. I'm buying.
Yeah, you're the face of your business, aren't you?
Yeah. So that's why it's always important to put yourself in your comfort zone. Out of your comfort zone. As I said before, your dreams die in your comfort zone, don't they?
Yeah.
But it's so easy to stay in it. It's so easy to not want to do, because I do at my house. I've got this ice bath. It's horrible. Every time I go.
It's lovely.
Oh, it's lovely. It's lovely.
You love doing it.
And every time I go for a run, I jump in the ice bath.
I've done a few ice baths, right? And these won't really resonate with you, but maybe you can pick something out for yourself out of this, right? When I got in the ice bath for the first time, so I was in Thailand actually, one of the business retreats, and the weather was beautiful, it was lovely. And I just imagined I was having a hot flush, right? Okay. So I laid there and I was like, oh, this is so lovely, because I just imagined that my body was like burning hot and the ice was like really, really lovely on it. And I'm not suggesting you would know what that felt like, but you could use your own visualization, right? And I stayed in there for ages, and I've done it a couple of times since then, and that's what I do. I just imagine, I just go, oh God, this is so lovely, because it's the power of the mind, right? You do your breathing, but if you just visualized that your body was red hot, and this was just beautiful, and it was cooling you down, then it's actually turns it into a pleasant experience.
No, fair enough.
You're going to say you're right again, aren't you?
Yeah. I don't do that. I'm in there. I'm like nearly passing out, but it is good.
It's the power of the mind.
It is, yeah. I said before, like people don't want, like people wouldn't. I'm sure if I said to like certain people, like, oh, do you want to jump in an ice bath? They'd be like, well,
No.
I wouldn't use the wording on here, but they would say no. But as I said before, it's little small things like that saying, I definitely don't want to go in an ice bath, but if it's going to help.
And this is the thing, right? When you want to overcome a fear, the desire to do that something has to be greater than the fear. So I use this example last night. Last night we were at, I did a collaboration with my friend Emma, and she does beautiful sound baths, and we did a combination of me doing a hypnosis and her doing the sound bath, and it was really, really good, wasn't it? And Jack was there filming it for us. But one of the things I said there was, not everybody wants to jump out of a plane. I've done it, I loved it, right? But it's not something that everybody wants to do. But if you do want to jump out of a plane and you're a bit fearful, your desire to jump out of the plane has to be greater than your fear of not doing it. So you overcome it. So it's like a scowl, isn't it? So you'll go and do it. But if you never wanted to jump out of a plane, the fear will just go, you're not doing it. Fair enough. But it's the same thing with other things in life, isn't it? I want to be a business owner, but I'm too scared. Well, how much do you want to be a business owner then? Or I want to get a new job, but I'm too scared. Well, how much do you want that new job? Or my life is really messed up, I really want to fix it. Well, how much effort and money do you want to do that to fix it then?
Mm-hmm.
So your desire has to be greater than the reasons for not doing something.
And you do hear a lot of, well, I know we've all done it, but that there's something you want to do, and it's like when someone says you're going to do it, then you're thinking, it's just later, not a time now.
Yeah,
I said to one of my friends, I can't remember, I think there's something small about something. He said the same thing, I'll do it late, not the right time now, I'm not the right position yet. I said, mate, you will never be in the right position. Like, you'll never have enough money, you never have the right money you want to have, you'll never be in the position you want to be in, you'll never be in the right shape you want to be in. Everything will, like, I've said it loads of times, like before I had my business I'm more like that. I'm not saying I'm some sort of like, I never did this, I did this all the time before, and that's what I mean. It's kind of like there's no good time to do something, just do it now. And you can just, I was thinking as well, kind of like, I was like, we're in this world, we might as well just crack on. Do you know what I mean? But if we're here, we're not like, I was thinking, when someone says, if, for example, like a PhD takes, is it 4 years?
Probably, something like that.
You think, I can't think how far ahead. Just not saying I'm going to do a PhD, but just start.
Yeah.
It's like anything. It's like we're running a business. It takes a long time.
Yeah. Like if you want to climb a mountain, you don't worry about. You take it each week at a time, don't you? Or day at a time. Yeah.
And it's
too overwhelming.
It is. Like, and sometimes it is really easy to be. I get very overwhelmed a lot of the time.
I mean, it's great to have the bigger vision and know that you want to climb that mountain, but you don't. That's not your focus. That's not what. You set that intention and you put that out there to the universe or to God or whatever it is you believe in. You say, that's what I want to do. I want to have a successful business. I want to have money in abundance. I want to be travelling. I want to do this, right? But you put that up there as a placeholder, and then you take the incremental steps. And, do like 3 months at a time, 6 months, a year, but don't think about 20 years time, because that's what you want now. In 20 years time will be different because of the reasons we've just said, right? I didn't know I wanted to be an entrepreneur, never crossed my mind, so I would never have put that up there, but guess what, that's what I'm doing.
I know this is obviously, I can't quote this exactly, but I remember I heard none of the business I was working with, he told me about this actually. He said there's a story of, it's obviously not a real story, but it was this boy and a horse were in a forest and it's really foggy, and they were walking through it, and the boy said, I can't see where I'm going. And then the horse said, just look one step at a time. Because you think when you go into business, you go into anything, you think wow, there's like people here been 30 years here, 40 years here, they've done so much stuff, more than me. I can't, there's so much to do. Just do it a step at a time. Like today, I'm thinking, I'll do a podcast and then film another thing later. I'm not going to stress about A, B and C next week. Just do a thing at a time, thing at a time. But it is hard to do that, but sometimes it's just taking that time to understand. Sometimes it's just step away. When you are really panicking, just like step back and then realise there isn't a rush or something. And no, because we're doing a lot now. I said big business events now for 3 months. It feels like I've been in it for 38 years because we're doing so much and we're like forced to do things which we thought I would never do. It feels like we're doing a lot when not much time's actually passed. Yeah,
and I've really learnt that lesson a lot recently about stop giving yourself a hard time. And I've been rewriting my origin story recently because I've got to do a new website, and obviously for some of the filming we were doing yesterday. And it's when you do things like that, and that's something I'd recommend to do. I never really was a journaler. I didn't really used to journal, but I've started doing that a little bit now. But what I would really recommend people do is start from now. I got one of my clients to do it recently. Is start from now and then work backwards, and just do like a timeline of all your achievements that you've done in your life, right? And you'll be surprised about how far you've come, even if you were just doing it from your career or from your business perspective, like I've done. Because like sometimes I think to myself, right, I started this journey in like September 2020. It's now 24. It's 4 years ago. Why am I... In fact, next month will be my anniversary of when I got made redundant, actually. So I thought about this the other day and I thought, Jesus, that's 4 years. Why am I not more successful than I am then? And then I was like, well, hang on a minute. The first 2 years of that, you were still working full time. You were like retraining your whole modality. So you started to see clients and you started to build a business from scratch and everything that we've spoken about. And then it's only been 18 months that I quit my job full-time, my full-time job. So actually, to be where I am right now with everything that I've done and I've achieved is absolutely phenomenal. But I've given myself such a hard time about that in the past, and not even the fairly recent past as well. But the reason I've kind of got over it, if you like, is because of all the work I've been doing. I've done loads of hypnosis in my Rise and Shine Academy that I'm still part of, uncovering my money beliefs, uncovering my fears. And we're talking now, I say to all my clients, when you work with me, right, imagine you're an onion. And when we do the first deep dive session, you're taking away some layers of that onion. Now, you might be quite happy with what's left of that onion, but after a while you might go, do you know what, I want to go deeper. And then we go again and you take away some more. So that's what I've been doing. I've just been digging deeper and deeper and deeper. And now I just think to myself, do you know what, you're amazing. Oops, sorry, you'll have to delete that bit out.
That's all right. Well, yeah, that's definitely one thing you can look at. You're definitely an expert in your field. Well, thank you for today's podcast. I really appreciate the chat.
Thank you, I loved it.
And obviously get all the videos done and sent over to you as soon as possible.
So I can put them all out, yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, darling.